Alrighty guys, we're back for Full Throttle Overlords, and this is an Aetherdrift, Standard Brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some Ranked. Got a couple Full Throttles. Here on the top end, it's a 6-mana sorcery. After this main phase, there are 2 additional combat phases. Oh my, 2 of them, huh? At the beginning of each combat this turn, untap all creatures that attacked this turn. That's pretty important for that first ability, huh? So yeah, we have a whole attacking theme going on in here. A whole bunch of creatures that benefit from attacking. Cards like Overlord of the Boilerbilges, for example, is a 6-mana 5/5. Of course, it has the Impending 4 for 2 and double red. Whenever this permanent enters or attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target. Awesome stuff. That'll really come in handy. And honestly, I'm going to do some rearranging too, because the impending costs on these Overlords is really going to come in handy, especially for Overlord of the Hauntwoods, as that's helping us ramp into that top end, which is going to be very, very important in here. Other cards on the top end, we got a couple Tyrranax Rex helping us close up the game with that hasty trampling swing. Then also, you never know when that Toxic could really come in handy too, if you're up against some serious life gain maybe. Got a couple Calamity Galloping Infernos in here. This is a 6-mana 4/6 with haste. It has saddle for 1. And when it attacks while saddled, you choose a non-legendary creature that saddled it this turn. You create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. You sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step, and then you repeat this process once, which is no joke. So unfortunately, it is already tapped and attacking, so you won't get the attack trigger, but you will get any extra ETBs, like on your Overlords and stuff. So that could be really cool. But then also, you don't have to get an ETB. You could just have big old chunky things being copied, and that is equally as deadly, huh? Speaking of big old chunky things, we got a couple Agonasaur Rex here. Should be a pretty good creature in this one. Got 4 Outcaster Trailblazer as the card draw of the build, but then also it does act as some ramp too if you are successful at plotting this up. And maybe you're successful at plotting this up on turn 2, and then you can use it next turn for some ramp. And of course, how do you plot it on turn 2? Llanowar Elves, right? We got all 4 of them in here. We do have more ramp packed in with 3 Ruby Daring Tracker, also fitting the attacking theme. And then Generous Plunderer, same thing. Ramp, but then also attack theme, right? Because when this creature attacks, it deals damage to defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. So what I really want to see, I want to go up against a synthesizer build and see if Plunderer can do the thing. Outside of that, the top ability, of course, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a treasure token. When you do, target opponent creates a tapped treasure token. Hopefully, our treasure token does a lot more for us than the opponent's treasure token. But we'll see, we'll see. We have a couple Smugglers surprise to cheat our top end onto the board for just 6 mana. It has a couple other abilities that might come into play. Got a couple Primal Might. Removal's important, right? I guess, kind of, sort of. Is this enough removal? Probably not, unless we are actually successful at ramping at a significant pace, in which case we might just have too many chunky things for the opponent to deal with anyways. We'll see though, right? We got an Anzrag, the Quake-Mole, also fitting that attacking theme and kind of a similar concept to the Full Throttle top end. It's a 4-mana 8/4, my goodness, and when it's blocked, untap each creature you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Also has an ability at the bottom that I'm actually going to take the time to go over. It's 3 double red, double green, so 7 mana total. Anzrag must be blocked each combat this turn if able. That's not going to be unheard of when we're ramping really well, or hopefully ramping really well, right? Speaking of ramping really well, we have 24 total mana. That should be more than enough for this deck list. We got a couple of Fabled Passages, got a Demolition Field. We have all 4 Thornspire Verge. We have all 4 Copperline Gorge. As you guys can see, I'm really opting for that early game. We also have a Restless Ridgeline this time round too. And over here, we are actually leaning green. And over in the mana base, we're kind of sort of treating the Verge as a red source. So we still have like an equal split between forests and mountains if we want to think of it that way. But since we're actually leaning green, I think this actually makes a lot of sense for this split. Hopefully I landed on something good with the mana. Guys, some honorable mentions and some very important honorable mentions. Up the Beanstalk probably could have been pretty good in here. Dragonhawk almost made the cut. Twin Flame Tyrant, of course. And then Vaultborn Tyrant definitely could be traded out instead of the Tyrranax Rex. I'm just opting for the Rex as a way to clean up the game whereas Vaultborn Tyrant kind of just helps us stabilize the game instead. Hopefully, we're just explosive enough to not worry about the extra life gain and card draw at that point in the game. Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I think it's going to be pretty good, man, and that's based on my test games, which I don't usually like to base things on the test games, because sometimes they're just all over the place, but then also sometimes I have to change a lot based on the test games too, but I didn't change too much this time around. I think I might have rearranged the mana just a little bit. So opponent goes first. I'm going to keep this because Overlord is our mana fixer. And we might have a turn 2 Overlord, which is really, really good. If Llanowar Elves survives, of course. 24 total mana. We should find our third anyways, even if Llanowar doesn't survive, which it didn't get cut down. That's great news. Oh, Deep Cavern Bat. They want to take the Overlord for sure. Yeah, that's a problem, actually. Primal Might. I mean, I guess Primal Might takes care of the Deep Cavern Bat, but still, they tempo us out for the turn by taking the Overlord. Oh, wait, wait. Oh, Smuggler's Surprise. Oh. Okay, we got the ramp, guys. And also, I should play the mountain, even though they know that the forest exists. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. We can play mountain next turn. Keep that a secret. This is definitely the play, right? I'm pretty sure. Deep Cavern Bat number 2 would take the Primal Might, and then their Deep Cavern Bats are safe for now. We only got a couple we only have a couple Primal Mights to actually pop those bats with anyways, so yeah, second bat would be scary. Oh, duress. Okay. Now they're taking our big things away, guys. Oh no, I would have loved to full throttle in game 1 here. All right, Generous Plunderer. Nice. I think I'm just going to go for 5 mana, though. 5 mana big thing. Uh-oh. Speaking of mana, I think the opponent missed some mana. Yeah, we should... I mean, we got the ramp. We should use the ramp for sure. An 8/8 trample is no joke, dude. Oh, there's their third. That's good. Okay. So, I suppose... Okay, Bitter Triumph. They take the 3. I suppose we technically don't know what we're up against yet. It could be Mono Black Discard. It could be Mono Black Demons, I think, still runs Deep Cavern Bat. Or, yeah, all of these still, right? Okay, that's a lot of mana. I am getting a little nervous. Luckily, the Overlord of the Hauntwoods gets to power up here. At that point, taking back the Smuggler Surprise doesn't even seem that great. Big old chunky Primal Might for a Llanowar Elf swing. It doesn't have to be big old chunky, does it? We could just do X's 2, still swing with the Llanowar Elves and get the Plunderer down. That seems decent enough, right? I don't mind that. Yeah. Smuggler's Surprise comes back. And we get the swing with the Llanowar Elves. Generous Plunderer. And we don't have to use the Plunderer's ability. We have nothing to ramp into right now anyways. 2, 3, 4, 5. Smuggler's Surprise, but our hand is empty, so... Archfiend. Crap. Okay. Well, Plunderer does have Menace, and at this point, how much are we helping them with the treasures? We don't want to forget that top ability, too. Mill 4, put 2 creatures and or lands. That would be 7 total mana, right? Oh, no. 8 total mana. That's okay. I think I'm going to activate this. I don't know what the treasure ramp is at. Oh. We find the 8. Do we try it? Before combat for sure, because it affects the combat. No, we don't find the 8. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm getting confused. I'm sorry, guys. I've counted once before. It was a terrible experience, and I never wanted to count again. Come on, creatures. Ooh, okay, a couple Overlords. That's pretty deadly, dude. All right. That's good stuff, man. Hey, we got a lot of creatures packed in. Also, I guess we hit the opponent's face. Archfiend of the Dross is a little bit too chunky sometimes. We take that Plunderer swing. Opponent's down to 10. Look at our board state, dude. Holy cow. See if that treasure token ends up helping them out. They find a Soulstone Sanctuary. Now the opponent's probably seeing too much mana. Ritual Chamber, get a 6/6. Okay. We still have a terrific full swing. I will take this action because more damage if they don't use these treasures. Copperline Gorge is pretty bad. We just go for the full swing. And we hit their face. For 4. Plunderer has Menace. Plunderer is also hitting. Yeah, GG opponent. So they still had one treasure open, so I don't know what that possibly could have been. That was good, man. That was good stuff. So their blocks, right? Their 6/6s could have blocked the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. 4 getting through there, and then the Plunderer, yeah, dealing damage to defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. And they controlled 2 artifacts there. Yeah. I think that the best case scenario for the opponent would have been a smaller chump blocker instead of the Ritual Chamber, right? And then some spot removal. So we don't really know what was in the opponent's hand there, but yeah, that was cool. Hitting 2 creatures on the Smuggler Surprise after the mill, successfully ramping there too. Everything was really cool about that one. Also, well, there was one thing that wasn't very cool. The opponent making us ditch our full throttle, which would have been epic to pull off in the first game, but it's going to be a hard one to pull off, I'd say. So Outcaster Trailblazer could also be the mana fixing here. It's just for 1 turn though, and what are we pulling off with that mana fixing? We need double red for the impending if we're ramping into that. If we want to ramp into it, we need double red in general, right? That's what I'm getting at. This is a tough one though. There's so much to draw into. I'm going to risk it, guys. That first game was so good. Let's push this deck list to its absolute limits. We might not get punished at all. Yeah, we just find a mountain anyways. That's really good news. Let's see if Llanowar Elves gets to stick around. It does not. And that's going to happen a lot, guys, for real. But when it does stick around, then it's really good, right? Yeah, versus Demir, we're definitely going for the plot on the Trailblazer, see what we can pull off. There's our second Primal Might. I won't reveal to the opponent that we have red in here just yet. Tyrranax Rex, okay. Go ahead and plot up the Trailblazer. See if Trailblazer can help us ramp into the Overlord if we miss our 4th mana next turn, which is possible. Yeah, definitely possible to miss the 4th because we have 24. We do miss the 4th. A Smuggler Surprise ought to be really good if we can pull that off in time. We won't get card draw on the Trailblazer, but we still ramp into this, right? Especially, we want to get the impending counting down. All right, let's see what happens. They got 3 mana open. It does land, so we are going to get this red source, which is excellent news. So we do have the top spree cost on the Smuggler Surprise. I'm pretty sure we want to hold off on that, although that could be a great way to get mana into our hand. Want to try the impending on the Overlord. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's a 3 steps ahead. Okay, the good news here is we actually get to keep Trailblazer around, which can help us restock our hand. Crap. Crap, guys. We're in danger. Okay, 4th mana. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so we do have Smuggler Surprise. This does have instant speed, right? So we can do that top ability on their turn. Looking for cheaper creatures and looking for some land for sure. Yeah, the only reason we'd want to do Smuggler Surprise on our turn is if we plan on if we plan on it affecting our combat for the turn, right? Or if we're trying to get around a counterspell, I guess, but that might be tricky either way. So we could hold off and try to wait for the 6 mana. I don't think we do that, guys. I think we utilize the utility of the surprise and see if we can pull this off. Also, it's only 3 mana. Why was I thinking that was 4 mana for the top ability? I'm not 100% certain why I was thinking that, but that's fine. Yeah, if they counter this, they do end up dropping the counter. It's actually changed the equation. Counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. Huh. Yeah. That totally works. All right, we're going to grab a mountain on the Fabled Passage, but I don't necessarily want to thin the deck list right now because we're trying to get to 7 for the Rex, and these can't be countered, so 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we still need 2 more mana, guys. I'm going to hold off for now. I see no reason to pop the Fabled when we don't mind top decking land for a couple turns. Rex not being able to get countered against Dimir control should be really good. Then the ward 4 gets paid pretty easily. I had the opponent right now with like a go for the throat, but okay. He's Mind Tome. They go for some card draw here. Find a Restless Reef. Okay, Generous Plunderer. Yep, until we need that Fabled Passage mana, I'm going to hold off on thinning the deck. And that's probably, if we get to keep Plunderer around, probably just one more turn. We'll pop the Fabled Passage after. Yeah, we'll see what they end up doing to the Plunderer. Honestly, if Plunderer takes some removal out of their hand, that would be pretty good for us. Yeah, the opponent controlled us pretty well at the beginning here, and also I probably should have mulliganed, but I think testing the deck list like this... Oh, they're going for Deadly Cover-Up. What do they want to exile here, I wonder? So since Plunderer is getting picked up, we don't have the ramp. I'm definitely not popping the Fabled Passage then. Either way, I think I'd still do it on our turn. After the draw, because yeah, I just wouldn't mind more mana. They go for the Smuggler Surprise. Yeah, we only got 2 of those packed in, luckily. That's a good grab, though, as they know they've seen this style of Gruul before, and, and that can be very explosive. Oh, they do get to see our hand. The double Tyrranax Rex no longer a surprise. All right. Mana. All right. So we have 6 on the board now. Still holding off on the Fabled Passage. I do not want to thin this deck list. They get some card draw on the Tome. Yep, that's scary business, man. And we don't want to forget that they can power up the Reef too, which is going to be a great way to kill off the Rex because of the Death Touch. A Demolition Field wouldn't be bad. Oh, Doomsday Excruciator. Oh, crap, dude. Okay, well, I guess we should activate Fabled Passage in case we lose all of our basics. We will grab a mountain, gladly. And we're in danger? Oh, dear. Oh, crap, they're exiled face down, too. We have 6 cards remaining. Can we get there? Probably not. Trailblazer. The beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. They went for the Dooms. Do you guys think they just have the Jace in hand anyways? We could go Trailblazer, Primal Might. Primal Might's a fight. We'd have X is 3, 4. X is... No. X is 3. So it would be a trade into the Trailblazer anyways. So I guess we'll just plot it up and try for next turn. I think we're dead, though, unfortunately, guys. Yeah, Dimir control, and I'm guessing they already have the Jace. They have 3 cards remaining. Let's get the good game ready. Yeah, there's the Jace. It's a good combo, man. A combo that we don't get to see very often. So I do wonder, I wish we could see a bit more of the opponent's deck list here, but we can't. I do wonder if the Doomsday Excruciator Jace is the main win condition in here, too. Yeah, overall, controlled really well. I'm trying to think of what turn was the turning point, right? I think the counter spell, I probably could have played around the counter spell on the Overlord of the Boilerbilges. At some point, the impending, like, of course, it would have just been a full creature. That could have helped us do something a little bit. Not really. Maybe there was no turning point in that game. Maybe the opponent just had it, you know what I mean? At that point, then, maybe the turning point was a mulligan. Maybe I could have found something a little bit faster. Oh, turn 1 removal for the Llanowar Elves could have been the turning point. It could be that simple sometimes, honestly, but... All right. We go first. That's great news, but we don't have a green source for the Llanowar Elves. That's Fabled Passage, which would be worth it probably. But I think I would go turn 2 Ruby then. Oh yeah, definitely turn 2 Ruby because it has haste so we can tap it for the Elves. Gonna give it a shot for sure. Fabled Passage. We'll do it at the end of their turn just in case they have something that like exiles from our graveyard or something. I guess. I guess that could happen, right? Nesting bot. Okay. Fabled Passage, grab that green source. Yeah, Ruby into Llanowar Elves. I mean, that's honestly a pretty good turn too. Okay, hopefully we find our 3rd mana, but now we thinned the deck list, which I am scared about actually. Okay, they have 2 speed. We do not find the mana. I guess we could still go impending, but yeah, we want to hit mana every single turn for sure when we need to hit 6 mana top end. And Ruby's already on the board. All right, now the question here is, do we hit their face or do we hit one of their 1/1s? That doesn't seem that great, honestly. I'm going to hit their face and just hope that we have an explosive end game. But Boros Go Wide is very scary, and they know how to boost their creatures too, so... Owl Squad Heavy. Okay. Okay, down to 15. Next turn, we have to anticipate them boosting everything. Alright, mana, that's good. That's good news. We actually get to keep a blocker back, probably Ruby, as the 2/1. Might be able to block a 1/1, but I have a feeling they're going to boost this board state. Either way, yeah, we'd keep the Ruby back, I would say. And at this point, Overlord number 2 is going to hit the House Squad Heavy. Because it's actually a pretty good creature. It's much better than what we were able to hit last turn, for sure. Alright, no attacks. Impending costs going down. I don't know if we're actually going to get a chance to power up these Overlords as creatures, but War Leader's Call. There's that boost I was talking about. Did we take 8? Probably. At 6 mana, though, listen, we find mana off the top, we play Calamity, then what? We can't do anything else. Calamity's just a blocker. But do we really want to chump with Ruby? Probably not. If anything, there'd be a better chump in Ruby's future. I will say this, guys. For a second, I gotta gather my thoughts. The turn passed and my brain got wiped. I am thinking about 25 mana, but I don't think that that's the proper course right now. Right, so actually, I should have chumped with Ruby, because if we didn't know that mana was going to be on top. Crap, guys. Yeah, all we have is Calamity. I think we're dead no matter what, unfortunately. So what ends up happening here is if we would have chumped with Ruby, well, then we wouldn't have had the 6 mana play. So if we chumped with Ruby, we'd be at 9, but then we would have only been able to play the second Ruby and had 2 chump blockers here. Then we would have been forced to chump probably anyways and still would have only had 4 mana. but surviving the extra turn. Oh, wow, it was just another War Leader's Call anyways. So, a good game opponent. It doesn't really matter where we block there. Okay, that was a sticky situation, huh? I don't know. If we didn't miss the mana for the one turn, maybe. And so that's something to be said. How about the Fabled Passage choice? In here to help us get around the Verge, of course, right? But also, there's a lot to think about here, man. I'm going to save it for the final thoughts, I think. Yeah. Yeah, like so I'm thinking of the 25th. I don't know if that's what we want to do. If we miss mana a few more games, then I will consider that 25th very seriously. But I don't think we're going to miss mana. I think 24 should be completely fine. And then additionally, okay, first of all, we keep this. All right. This might be one of the best hands of the evening. Play the right mana first. Woo. Gotta watch out for your Verges, man, especially on turn 1 with Llanowar Elves. Anyways, something else I'm considering is the Fabled Passage. I don't know if I like that deck thinning, but I think usually it's just going to come in handy more often than not. I'll get the Verge down, and then we'll ramp right into the Overlord of the Hauntwoods, which is so freaking good, guys. That's not even funny. It's such a good turn 2 play. Right into 5 mana next turn if we need it, which we could go like Primal Might, X's 3, get a swing with Llanowar Elves. But hopefully we just draw something else that we wouldn't mind ramping into. At that point, we could make the argument for more 5-drops if we pull this off often, but I think more often than not, the Llanowar Elves might have died by now anyways, and so you'd still just be looking at the impending on the other Overlord or something. Okay, we can successfully get the other Verge down. Ruby's pretty decent. We can't swing into their 2-2 right now. Oh, we could still go Primal Might. If we wanted to. X's 1 on Primal Might gets us a full swing. Or I guess X's 2 gets us the same amount of damage. I think they want creatures in the grave, and we might want to wait for a better target, though. What do you guys think about that? I'm gonna have to tap out, though. Yeah, better target, better target. And I hope that's fine. Or not only a better target, maybe an actual way to win, too. Okay, a couple more turns till Hauntwoods powers up. So next turn, we will have 7 mana for the Tyrranax Rex, which should be a pretty good swing unless they keep mana open for removal. Overlord. See what they put in their grave. Their Marauder probably getting very cheap. Harvester of Misery. Nice. Luckily, they're not going to be able to activate that this turn. So it costs 1 less for each creature, and they have 3 creatures in the grave. Okay, so it's not quite there yet. All right, let's do this. Tyrranax Rex, come on down, buddy. Start getting that damage through for me. With the extra ward cost, look at this, ward 4, that should be really hard for them to deal with. If they're going for sacrifice things, we have a lot of other creatures to sacrifice first. Up the beanstalk. Oh, guys, a big old chunky Primal Might on Tyrranax Rex is looking really good for us right now. Old Tender. It's looking really good for us right now. Okay. Generous Plunderer is the draw for the turn. I think we go all into the Rex because what could that 1 mana be? Oh no, opponent, come back. I want to attack. No. Heck yeah, I had fun. So we would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. X's 7 on the Primal Might. Pop their Scout, right? And then swing for 15 trampling damage on the Rex, trampling right over the Malt Tender. And if their 1 mana card was something that gained them life, their 1 mana left is actually Painland too. I don't know exactly what that could have been to save them from 15 power Rex. which is why, I mean, that was a great showcase as to why I landed on Primal Might as the removal in here. But honestly, maybe I want to consider 3 Primal Mights too, but tough decisions here, man. I'm coming out of the end of these games a little bit, like, I guess, confused on what I want to change, and maybe the reason is I shouldn't change anything. Maybe that's why I'm confusing myself, right? Maybe I shouldn't be looking at it as to what to change, but more so optimized plays or optimized mulligans instead. Okay. I couldn't find anything wrong with the hand, man. This is pretty good. This is a really good hand. Yeah, let's see what we can pull off here. And there's so much we can draw. That just makes it even better too. See if we can get that Hauntwoods again. Turn 2 Hauntwoods. Holy cow. Turn 2 Hauntwoods, huh? Wow. Yeah, we go for it. Trailblazer is also pretty good, but can't believe that, man. Now, Fabled Passage. We'll grab a green on the Fabled Passage at this point now that everywhere's on the board anyways. I don't think it matters too much. We'll triple green in the Rex cost, though. We do find a 5-mana card. Nice. That's definitely worth it. Even more ramp. Dude, we just got so many good things packed in. There's no way that we skip the Overlord of the Hauntwoods for the turn, right? It's just like, no way. It's so good. Now some spot removal from the opponent. Or not. Holy cow, man. I mean, we got a lineup and a half. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we see mana off the top, we'll have the Rex swing too. Gnawing Vermin. Actually, it looks like the same deck list as the last opponent. Or are they the same opponent and I just don't pay enough attention? Oh no. Okay, so full throttle. We'd have 3 swings with the Overlord of the Hauntwoods, but I want to hold off on that. Probably go Overlord of the Boilerbilges instead. Pop their Gnawing Vermin. They pop our Llanowar Elves. Yeah, losing Llanowar Elves would suck, but nothing worth it. So it's 4 damage to the Vermin, so we can get 6 damage to the opponent's face. Other words, we do 4 damage to their face, and they chump the Overlord. So this gets more damage through. The Llanowar Elves was replaced with an Everywhere. So we still have 6 mana on the board for the full throttle. No blue source on the opponent's side means full throttle might actually land next turn. The question is, do we get to actually keep our Overlords on the board too? Souls of the Lost. Doesn't look like removal, guys. Here comes the full throttle. 2 additional combat phases. Oh, we have a problem, dude. Souls of the Lost I wasn't paying any attention to. It's a 5/6. No, my Overlord of the Boilerbilges. Why? They trade right into it, guys. Or yeah, this makes it an actual trade. Other words, they kill both of our Overlords. Oh no, it's still worth playing the full throttle though, right? Oh no. Now we get, so other words, okay. I'm struggling with my explanations today. I apologize, guys. Down to 2. Other words, if I would have hit face, then their 5/6 would have blocked our 5/5. And then no more Boilerbilges. And then we would have swung with Hauntwoods. And then their Souls of the Lost also would have killed. Yeah. Their Souls of the Lost would have picked up both Overlords if I didn't go 4 damage to the Souls. There we go. Okay. Now they can... So many chunky creatures. So many chunky creatures. Oh no, guys. Oh no. Okay, we have to keep the Rex. Both of them, right? Both of them. Even though we can't cast both next turn, there's a chance. Crap. Crap, guys. Yeah. We got to keep both of them. Trailblazer. We have 9. Trailblazer can come down. We could get some card draw, but I think all we want is the double Rex anyways. They block everything beautifully next turn. Crap. We actually send Rex because Trailblazer can draw us into another Overlord of the Boilerbilges. Right? I think so. So we go Trailblazer first. And then we use this extra mana to go into the Rex. So we draw its mana. Uh-oh. Can play the mana, I guess. Dude. If we wait... So they block here, right? They block here. They chump here. So trade, not a trade. Guys, what do you think? Do we wait? Souls of the Lost is such a problem. I don't think we wait because I think they just play more creatures next turn anyways. And this way we're getting 2 creatures off the board. Trailblazer sticks around to draw more anyways. We get more ramps, so no matter what we see off the top. So it's the same concept. If we would have waited, we still would have had 1 extra creature on them, right? We would have had 4, they would have had 3. I just don't know. Oh no, guys. Oh no, they're restocking their hand. They could just completely swarm the board here. Overwhelming remorse for the Trailblazer. They draw more cards. Oh no. Oh no. Dude, we're in danger. We need to get that 2 through with an Overlord. It's more mana. No. Okay, we gotta actually keep a chump blocker. If we swung, the swarm, of course, would have picked up the Overlord and we would have lost this 10 anyways. Actually, they keep the swarm back because they're afraid of more hasty creatures, right? Should I have kept the Rex? What would that next turn have looked like if I kept the Rex? Because we wouldn't have had... It would have looked like Overwhelming Remorse for 1 mana. Oh no, it's mana, guys. Hey, good game, opponent. Dude, that could have been anyone's game, but then also, I think that came down to how I played it, right? I played the full throttle thinking like, oh, that's it. It's over, right? But they had the 5/6, which happened to be a perfect blocker for the Overlord of the Boilerbilges, so I think that was my fault. If I would have held back a turn or 2 for the... I still had fun that game, though. The game's really checking in on my well-being today, huh? That's funny. Yeah, if I would have held back a turn or 2 for full throttle, it still might have been over, because the opponent was a turn or 2 away from popping off with even more Souls of the Lost, up the beanstalk, keeping their hand nice and stocked up and everything too, so that's tough. That's really tough. I don't know what the best course of action would have been there. Guys, I would have loved to end on a high note, but we're actually going to end there. And I think the deck list showcased itself beautifully, I'd say, overall, right? Let's go ahead and talk about this one real quick. I was struggling to gather my thoughts on the deck list while playing the games. Again, I apologize for that. Let's see if I can gather my thoughts here for the, well, final thoughts. A couple Smugglers surprise, totally worth it. Do we want 3 or 4? Probably not. Probably not. It really depends, man. I guess it depends what you're seeing a lot of. I know one thing. I am seeing a lot of counter spells floating about everywhere, so it's going to be pretty rough when you spend all that mana. But then, you know, it's still going to land sometimes too. We got it to land today. We got a big old chunky one to land too. We did both of the top spree abilities for 8 total mana. The early ramp and everything, Llanowar Elves, Ruby, Generous Plunderer. I would have liked to see you a bit more today, guys. Oh, you know what I should say right at the beginning here? Put it on the do not craft list, and here's why. Here's why. There's way too many mythics. Way too many. Let's look at the mythics here real quick. Generous Plunderer, all 4 of those are in here. Quake-Mole. Oh, Calamity's only rare, actually. Oh, okay. Well, Overlord, all 4 of those. Overlord of the Boilerbilges, all 4 of those. Tyrranax Rex, a couple of those, right? There's a lot of rares too. Primal Might Surprise. Actually, Trailblazer, Rex, or Agonasaur Rex, Full Throttle, and Calamity. Don't forget the mana base, guys, but luckily you could play these in other Gruul builds too. Too expensive, bro. We have 4 commons with Llanowar Elves and 3 uncommons here. Oh, Demolition Field's an uncommon. There we go. It's a basic lands. There we go. Yeah, basic lands are cheap, right? Holy cow. So put it on the do not craft list. But if you got the cards laying around, this was pretty cool, man. Should I say craft a little bit less based on your collection? Not if you're crafting a lot of mythics anyways, right? If you have to craft a couple Ruby Daring Trackers to finish the deck, there you go. Go for it. That's totally worth it, man. Craft those rubies. That's funny, though. Or for that matter, too, if you're like a Gruul player and you have to craft a couple of the new Verge, I don't think you'd be mad at all to have the Thornspire Verge in your collection. So yeah, put it on the do not craft list, even though it was really cool and it kind of did the thing. And in the test games, it really did the thing too. So yeah, I think the only thing that I changed from the test games was I adjusted the mana base a little bit. Not 100% certain right now what I adjusted because that was a little bit ago, but still. All right, guys, again, trying to gather my thoughts on what I want to say here. Generous Plunderer, is this worth it as a 4 of? This could probably be your 2-mana ramp spell of choice. The reason this is in here is it's to fit that attack theme. When you're attacking with your creatures in this deck list, hopefully you're getting a benefit, and then hopefully you're attacking multiple times on the same turn, whether it's Quake-Mole or Full Throttle. Man, I would have loved to see attacking multiple times on the same turn with Calamity today. It's going to happen sometimes, dude. There's a lot of... The honorable mentions were so important today, guys, for real. The other top-end things that were in the honorable mentions especially. So our only card draw is actually Outcaster Trailblazer, which might not be enough at all. So Vaultborn Tyrant on the top end. However, I opted for Tyrranax Rex. I wanted a way to clean up the game, not a way to stabilize the game. Does that make sense for this build? I actually think so. I do. Just Vaultborn Tyrant not being in here feels really weird. It's a really good one to copy with Calamity and everything too, so... Man, that last game, I'm thinking about that last game, and if I would have held off on Full Throttle, I think the opponent still would have gotten there. Which is crazy to think about. They had these big old chunky things. That's where Primal Might really would have come in handy, maybe as a 3 of in here. But then what do we drop? Maybe one of the rubies? 3rd Primal, 2 rubies? Or one of the Plunderers. 3 Plunderers, 3 Primal Mights. I know one thing. I don't want to drop the Agonasaur Rex. There were actually a lot of moments where we successfully ramped into 5. And we want to see our 5-mana cards like Hauntwoods or Agonasaur Rex, right? I'd consider more of them if we valued the cycle a little bit more too. Which, if we had more, maybe we would have seen in those games where the cycling could have actually really come in handy. For example, protecting cards like Outcaster Trailblazer can be really, really good. Speaking of Outcaster Trailblazer, don't sleep on the plot, for sure. There's going to be a lot of moments where you actually want to plot this up. The Overlord, I think maybe I'm confused because the deck list did the thing, and I'm not supposed to change anything here, but I still wanted to talk about it. And it's still probably jank too, right? Doing some rearranging here with the Overlords because of the impending costs. The mana felt good. Opting for the early land felt about right. There's always going to be those awkward moments where you're like, oh, mana off the top would be great. So that way I can play my 6-mana Overlord or something, right? And you see a Copperline Gorge. But I think most of the time, you're not going to care about that. most of the time you want that early Copperline Gorge for your early ramp anyways. So opting for the early land makes a lot of sense. There's something I wanted to bring up with the Fabled Passage. I think we could actually trade this out. Probably for more dual land. Honestly, dude, right? Probably some Surveil land. It was pretty sketchy thinning the deck list in here. It was, even though there's so much ramp, 24. There's going to be moments where you actually just flood out, and you would have really loved to see Fabled Passage to thin out the deck list. A similar concept with the Demolition Field too. There's actually a lot of targets for Demolition Field, and we're seeing a lot of the Restless Reefs, especially in Dimir. Or maybe that's just the Restless land that I noticed the most, but still, I do like the one Demolition Field a lot, and I like our Restless Ridgeline in here too, especially when we have so much extra mana too. This could easily help us close up a game after the opponent drops a Sunfall or something. Oh, something we didn't see today, guys, was super hyper aggressive mice and some of those other super aggressive builds. So I don't know how well this deck list is going to do against those at all. And I don't think I went up against any of those in my test games with this either. And usually you want a lot of early removal for those, but this deck list is just opting for early ramp and trying to get big chunky creatures down as soon as possible. Which, funny enough then, Overlord of the Boilerbilges ends up being one of our early removals for 4 damage to any target, which I guess if you're ramping well enough, it is early enough sometimes. You could still pick up a big old chunky Heartfire hero, I guess. Going to be taking that damage though, so at that point, Manifold Mouse might be the better target. They always come down as a pair. They always come down as a couple, so... So maybe Manifold Mouse would be your target for the 4 damage. And take some damage from the Heartfire heroes for a few turns. Yeah, I didn't really consider that when going over the deck list at the beginning of the video there, where Overlord of the Boilerbilges is more removal. I think a lot of the times you're so tempted just to hit the opponent's face because you're getting these big chunky creatures down. If they survive, you're just attacking in and still slamming their face for more damage right next turn to you. It makes a lot of sense though. It is more removal, not necessarily early removal, but sometimes early removal. Okay guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. If you, by the way, the YouTube side of things, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like, and if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing. Seriously, it really does help out the channel. Also down in the description, we have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. Okay, I hope I went over this well enough, and hopefully the games just spoke for the deck list anyways, whether it was wins or losses, or whether it was janky draws or really good draws. Just hopefully the deck list spoke for itself here. I guess it's a little bit of a confusing one for me. Like my gut was telling me to change something, but I don't think I should. Yeah. All right. I will see you in the next video.